Hello, everyone, and welcome to StoryForge, an offshoot of the Untold Stories project. This project focuses on those role-playing systems that may not get a whole lot of view in the streaming community. StoryForge, specifically, is meant to focus on character creation within these systems. My name is Andy, and I will be your Forge Master for this series, so let's strike while the iron is hot. So far in the previous videos that we've done, we've focused on creating characters within a given system. But this next topic, I'm trying to make as agnostic of any system as possible. Today, we're going to look at some basic advice for creating new characters, one or multiples that may hopefully be a lot of fun for you to play. So, characters are as much the background and creativity that you put into them as they are the stats, class, and background heritage that you choose. But sometimes, based on how your character is planned to be played, you put more effort into min-maxing your stats to excel at one particular skill, usually that skill being death dealing. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're going for. But for some of us, that's not what drives them to build a character. So we're going to look at a few creative ways that you can attempt to take a pile of stats, backgrounds, and class picks and flesh that out into a meaningful, well-rounded character that you're going to have fun playing with at your table, and hopefully that your friends at that same table will have fun playing with. The information that we're presenting here is probably most useful to new players in the role-playing hobby, but some veterans might get some information out of this as well, glean some new bit that they may have forgotten about in the past or just didn't think about up till this point. And while you can jump right into rolling dice, if that's how you go ahead and start your characters, this info is best used before you even put pen to paper or even throw those dice to figure out what your stats are going to be. So the first thing you're going to want to consider when building your character is knowing what type of game you're actually going to be building it for. So maybe you're getting ready to jump into a living world style game, something like Pathfinder Society, Starfinder Society, Shadowrun missions, that kind of game. Or maybe you and your friends are starting up a new home game. Maybe you're jumping into an existing game that has been going on for a while and you're being brought in as a new player. Whatever you're looking at, um, you might be biased by some of your past experience. You want to kind of think about what's the general type of character that you're used to playing. Do you play defense or offense oriented type of characters? Is your character a social butterfly or they are brutish thug? Oftentimes, when we go to make a new character, we intrinsically fall into the same role that we're very used to playing. Um, if you've been playing with the same group for a while, maybe your group expects you to play that role. Um, or maybe you just really enjoy playing that role. And if you do, that's great. Go ahead, play that character, go that route. But sometimes the best way to get new inspiration for a character is to look outside of what you've considered the norm up to that point, working outside your comfort zone, so to speak. So, speaking of inspiration, one of the things that might be considered taboo, and really in this hobby where you're being creative, there really should be no such thing as a taboo, uh, is using a character from popular culture reference as a basis for your character. And I'm not talking about making a character as a clone of something that exists in popular culture, though you can do that if you're hurting for ideas, but more taking different pieces or aspects of something that you've seen in popular culture and translating it to the character that you're trying to create. So I'll give you guys an example. When I was making my character for my friend's Curse of Strahd game, I had just finished watching the anime show Rising of the Shield Hero. If you haven't seen it and you're into anime, I recommend that one pretty highly. But one of the things that really struck me with that character was the idea of using the shield being the focus of the character. All of his offense came from that shield and came from the magic that he had as part of that. Um, so I started my planning there. I basically said, I'm going to take this concept of the shield is the only thing that I'm going to be using as both defense and offense. I'm going to have magic to supplement it, and I'm going to focus on how do I get the most out of that. Um, I didn't want to just make the clone of that character, so I didn't want to copy their background or their personality, but I was trying to draw on interesting pieces and parts of the character so that I could try to replicate that. Um, that goes back to just drawing on things that you know and you like when you're making a new character, trying to use that as inspiration. Think about what's new or exciting, something that you haven't done before, and you'll hopefully find the spark that begins to make the character exciting for you. If that's not enough, things you can also do to kind of spark some creativity is you could draw a picture or you could write a story about the character. Uh, if you flex some different creative muscles, sometimes that can get you new insight into the character and hopefully drive you to what you're looking for overall. So next up, we're talking background and motivation. Now, this is also dependent on the type of game that you're going to be playing, but for any game, if it's a living world game or if it's a home game, it doesn't hurt to understand and write out what your character's motivations are. Hopefully, it gives you a clearer picture of who that character is and what it is that drives them. Things like where did they come from? What did they do before they took to the life of daring deeds of potentially questionable origin? Did they have a family? Do they have a family? Is there something that they care about outside of whatever the main plot point of the story that you're going to be playing in is? Asking yourself a couple of these questions or similar ones, and hopefully finding an answer to them will help you flesh out the character, making it more real to you and the world that you're going to be playing in, and hopefully less like just a set of numbers to add to a die roll when the time's required. GMs also enjoy this very much because they like to have plot hooks that they can use to entice your character to pay attention to the main plot, uh, as well as things that they can do to, well, stick that GM knife in your back if they need to. Basically, they have a way to bring you into the story to make the story not just something that they're telling and you're participating in, but something that you actually care about and have a vested interest in getting to some sort of resolution with that. So, all that said, one of the really great ways to create a new character is by getting together with the group that you're going to be playing with and having a session zero. Now, a session zero is usually a brainstorming session where the whole group meets and brings an idea or two to the table, and you get a general sense for what everybody in your group is trying to come up with character-wise for the new game. With this type of meeting, you're going to realize potentially that one or more of you have the same idea or similar ideas, and something that they may suggest inspires you, or something you say may inspire them, and you might realize that you can form some sort of connection or relationship with that character, be it antagonistic or positive. And a session zero doesn't necessarily have to happen only when you're starting a new game. It can happen when you're a new character jumping into an established campaign. For you, it's a session zero where you're getting a chance to kind of see what the rest of the players at the table have put together. And that might inform you as to what type of character that you want to create. How might you fit in with this group that's already established? For those of you that would be creating a character for a living world style game, when you're not necessarily playing with the group, with the same group on a regular basis, this exercise probably isn't the best one to utilize because you're not going to be meeting with those people on a regular basis. However, you can try to think about past experiences for this. If you've run characters within these living worlds before, what do you usually see? What do you think is necessary at that table when you go to those living world style games? So what exactly have we touched on in this video? We've touched on a few ideas, to hopefully help you dive into your character a little bit more, taking them from the world of numbers to being a more fleshed out being with motivations and drive to tackle the challenges that the GM puts in front of you. Do you need to take any of this advice? No, it's just presented here as a way to assist those new to the role playing with creating a character, or maybe challenging a veteran to step outside their comfort zone and do something a little bit different. But at the end of the day, what matters is that you're having fun with the character that you are playing and the people that you're playing with. So go ahead and do what makes you happy. If you liked what you heard from this video, please hit the like button and the bell to get notified when we put up new videos. If you have any suggestions to add to the advice from this video, leave us a comment below. Thanks for watching.